All right, well, there you go. I hit the wrong button, actually, and started an old intro by accident, but I thought, well, we'll just run it. You guys can see it. That one was made by a dear old friend, Mr. Chris Gio, ages ago, pretty much when I first started YouTube, actually, or pretty soon thereabout in 2017. So it's an old intro, but still holds up all these years later. Welcome, everybody. It's Saturday, and this is our last live show for the next week. I do intend on doing some impromptu live streams in the next week, just to show you what's going on, where I'm at, all that stuff. But other than that, I don't know when those will be. I can't give you any kind of schedule because it's just going to be more of opportunity knocks. We're going to stream. And if and when, and depending on bandwidth and any number of other criteria, and if I can, I know that the conferences are a little more stringent about live streaming because obviously people are presenting and they don't want their presentations being streamed, which I guess I can understand. So this will be the last live show, the last scheduled one. Hi, HB Girl, to you. Good to see you over on Rumble. It's you and I over on Rumble. I didn't know if anybody else is over there yet, but good to see all you guys over here in the YouTube. There's a ton of you. And I guess I could just see who those ton of you are. Looks like Joanne is here. Bogart is here. Chris Cirque just came in. Deborah Neighbors. Jem Gwynn. Hello Friend is here. Jed Maxwell. Cat Dougherty is here. Kitty Cattywhack. Lots of cats and kitties. That's good. Michelle Wolfong is here. Good to see you, Michelle. As well as Rachel Gets It Right. Sandy M is here. Sharon Sunshine. Shelley Montgomery. And the T-Bone. T-Bone came in first, actually. T-Bone, you got the first place tonight. You did good. You made it right in the front end here. We got a lot to get to tonight. Obviously, we're going to get to the news here in moments. And we're also... Hi, John Temprin over on Facebook. Good to see you, brother. Thanks for checking in. It's good to see the Facebook thing popping up every once in a while in X or wherever you're chatting from, or if you're over on Twitch, say hello. That way, it's not only nice to see that you're there and to say hello to you, but it also helps me to know things are working right. Because I can't have 5 different streams open. It would just kill my bandwidth. So I just have to wait till I see things pop up in the chat. So if you're on any of those other platforms, just say hello. That'd be great. Then I know they're working. But if not, it's okay. Before we get busy, what's going on? We're getting busy? We are getting busy. Always getting busy, T-Bone. Good to see everybody, though. Hello, Yeshua. Welcome. And great to see all you guys. Thanks for coming in. But again, this is the last live stream scheduled for the next week. T-Bone's T-Bone's rolling in with 5 gifted memberships. God bless you. Hitting the ground running here on the portal. Who got the memberships? Enoch Luciano got one. Banana Joe got one. Brenda Joe got one. Brenda Joe, meet Banana Joe. Banana Joe, meet Brenda Joe. Tara from Las Vegas got one, and Ty Chandler got one. So congratulations, all 5 of you. You are 1 month members of the channel, and hopefully you like it. I hope that it becomes a valuable thing for you and you choose to continue. If not, well, it's free. You may find value in it, you may not, so at least you're not out anything. But thank you, T-Bone, for making that happen, and thank you for all of the kindness. Yesterday's show, you guys were just flooding me with gifted memberships and all kinds of stuff. It was really amazing. Obviously, that can't happen every show, but it was really like, wow, I was blown away. So thank you, T-Bone, for breaking the seal tonight and starting it all off. And if we get more, great. If we don't, that's fine too. But we're all just here to rejoice in each other's company on this fine Saturday evening. Hope you guys are having a great weekend. Mine has been hectic as hell because I have a lot of things to get ready for the journey to Vernal, Utah. This next week I'll be in Vernal, Utah for Phenomicon. If you're not familiar with that, where the hell you been? First of all, because I've been talking about it forever. But Phenomicon's an excellent conference that's happening in Utah this next week. And there's some incredibly cool people going to be there presenting and sharing their insights and knowledge. And if you can ever make it, if you can't make it this year, that's fine. I think it's all sold out anyway, but if you can make it next year, do it. I mean, it's really an exceptionally well done conference. The whole town kind of rolls out the carpet for it. And Vernal's not a big town, but it's not only the cool conference, and Skinwalker Ranch is right in the neighborhood, as well as Blind Frog Ranch is right in the neighborhood there, but also Vernal has this really cool heritage of both First Nations histories and stuff with the Utes and the Navajo, as well as there's a hell of a lot of dinosaur bones around there and places you can tour where they're digging up dinosaur bones right in the area. And those valleys just north of town, those mountain valleys are just spectacular scenery. So I would recommend that if you don't make it just for the conference, make it for all of that. I should work for them, honestly. I'm always promoting this conference. And then later in September, I'll be going to the Crossing Realms conference that's happening the 19th and 20th in Richmond, Missouri. And that one you can still get tickets for. Go to, if you're near Richmond, Missouri, or can be in mid-September, then by God, please do. I'd love to get a chance to meet you guys and head over there. Those tickets are available on Eventbrite. Just look for the Crossing Realms conference over there. That's going to be an exciting one. I'm going to be there. Tex is going to be there from Texas Front Porch. Bigfoot Michigan Rob's going to be there. Monica's going to be there from Our Paranormal World. Paul, Paranormal Paul from his Paranormal Planet show. Brandy and Krista from Blondes and Booze are there. It's just going to be a whole conglomeration of people and so many more. So it's going to be a fun event. We're going to have a good time, and I'd love to meet any of you that can be there. And then in late October, I'm going to be here with the boys, the Hometown Ghost Stories boys over in Weymouth, Massachusetts. I don't know if it's Weymouth or Weymouth, how you say it, but that's where I'm going to be on October 24th. At the Barrel House Z, and that's going to be a great time. It's a live presentation. It's not really a conference as much as it is a live presentation. I'm going to do a presentation and talk, and they're going to do a presentation and show, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm really looking forward to that as well. I'm going to be doing one other conference that's happening in Wallace, Idaho. Before then, like the week before, but that I don't know. That's kind of been a last minute thing that they're putting up. So are you going to be there Thursday night at the camping spot? I'm going to be everywhere I can be, Poncho, but I do plan on getting in on Thursday during the day. So I'm going to go where everybody drags me. I don't know where I'm going, but I'll be everywhere I can be. So yeah, at the camping spot, if people are getting together there, I'll be there. I'm kind of going with the flow. So I'll be anywhere they want to put up with me. So, yeah, it's not human bones, Shelly. It's dinosaur bones in Vernal, Utah. So that'll be a great time. I'm looking forward to that. Wonder why my Discord does that. It must be something with my graphics driver. Sometimes, like I got 3 panels here. I'm moving my hands like you guys can see. All you can see is the Hometown Ghost Stories thing. I got 3 panels of monitors in front of me. And I always put my Discord on my right one. It's right over here. And every once in a while, and it's only Discord, just goes all black. So I got to go down to the taskbar, click it, and then click it again, and it comes up just fine. But it's like, some reason it keeps just deciding, no, I'm done. So we're going to get to the news, and then we're going to get to the Discord question of the week. We don't have Chucky here with us tonight to read it for us and to deliver it, which is, it's been kind of cool to have Chucky. Well, it's been very cool to have Chucky here to read his own question of the week, but we're going to get into the question of the week. There is still time if you haven't gotten over to the Discord to weigh in and let us know what you think about the question of the week. Head over there. We still got time. I got to do the news, and then, I never do anything quickly, so we'll take our time. But thank you, Rachel. Posted the link on the chat. It is https://discord.gg/paranormal portal. And you can go over to the Discord, sign up if you're not already, click on the question of the week tab, and weigh in. Let us know what you think. That'd be great. Really appreciate it. Just make sure you're on the most current Discord question of the week, because all of the history of question of the weeks, I think are still in that thread. It's ever growing. But we'd love to have you as a part of our Discord community as well. And then we're going to get to that article that we've been reading on Thought Catalog. And I don't know, I'm going to do one little video for what the hell is that tonight, but we did a hell of a lot of them last night. So then we're going to get to the Cryptid Corner and close out the show. So we got a lot to get to. I guess we should get to getting. Let's get to getting, folks. It's time for the news. Here we go. Oops. Wrong button. Sorry. You know, John, I never get tired of seeing that. I always chuckle every time you say it. It's like our ritual. I'll launch the news, the teaser, the trailer, the stinger, whatever they call it, and then John will type in the chat, the only news I trust. It's been going on for years now, but it still cracks me up after all this time. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Paranormal Portal News Desk. This is where we dive into stories and events that have occurred that maybe you'll find interesting. Maybe you won't. Maybe you'll be entertained. Maybe you'll learn something, but we'll just have as good a time as we can wrangle into the news tonight. I got 3 stories to bring you, and by God, I'm going to bring them as best I can. Remember, throughout the course of the show, I utilize a lot of different sites, and these sites are absolutely exceptional. And I implore you guys to visit these sites. I know you're into the paranormal, you're into the strange, the unusual, and every one of these sites has a bucket load of incredible resources and information about all of that, whether it's Sasquatch Chronicles, whether it's phantomsandmonsters.com, whether it's unexplained-mysteries.com, Thought Catalog, or any other of the sites that I'll mention throughout the course of the shows. Please give them your love. They all need your love and your attention. Your traffic equals revenue to keep the lights on, so please do that. Buffering is starting, and it's not here, Shelly. You guys got buffering? Anybody else got buffering? Let me know. Shelly's saying she's got buffering kicking off, and everything looks good on my end. So I'm a little verklempt. I got an excellent connection on YouTube as well. So anybody else getting buffering, let me know. Nothing I can do about it because everything on my end to YouTube is looking great. But I guess it's good to know so I can apologize. I always want you guys to get the best show. Nothing in my town. Okay, good. Smooth as silk. Thank you, Jed. Bogart says it's good. Sandy's good. Okay. Well, thank you for letting us know. Barbara Morrow over on Rumble saying, nope, it's fine. I was out answering question of the week. Barbara. Good job. Good job, Barbara. Barbara's over in Rumble. Thank you, Barbara, for doing the question of the week. Larry and Shirley Bell's here. Good. Looking and sounding great here. Good. Okay. Thank you, guys. Well, I'm sorry, Shelly, if you're getting lag. I don't know why. Just try refreshing the browser window. Maybe that'll help. But I don't know. It's kind of tricky. What's up, Paranormal Players? Mr. Eric Fry is here, ladies and gentlemen. Good to see you, brother. Pancho Zorch is here. I don't know if I said hello to you yet, Pancho. I know you asked a question in the chat about the event in Missouri, but hi, Ristol. Good to see you. But I want to make sure to say hi to everybody I can as you guys are coming in. I appreciate you guys being here. And Shelly says, no, it's just me. Well, it's okay, Shelly. We still love you, even if you are laggy. Sorry. I don't know if that makes you feel any better or not. I don't know. That made me sound like a dig, and I didn't mean it like a dig at all. But anyway, let's get to the news and see just what the hell's going on in the world around us. And hopefully Shelly's lag will straighten up, and we'll all just be cruising along happily here on the Paranormal Portal. So here we go. The first article up tonight. I'm glad you like it. Brent pays me to back up the entertainment. Yeah, of course I do, Mark. Your check's in the mail, along with all the other checks. It'll get there eventually. All right, Mark Eddie, good to see you, brother. All right, here we go. Here's the news. The first article. From creatures, myths, and legends of unexplained-mysteries.com, man spots Bigfoot-like creature wading across the river in Oklahoma. I don't know when this happened. This one was brand new on the bulletin board of unexplained-mysteries. So it's like, ooh, what's this? So I don't know if there's footage or what are we looking at. No, it doesn't look like it, but unless it's in here somewhere, and if it is, I can't see it. But anyway, let's see what it says. The encounter happened earlier in the morning while he was driving across a bridge between Tuttle and Mustang. In recent sighting submission to the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization, 62-year-old Jeff Power described an encounter with something unexplained at 8:15 a.m. in the morning on August the 4th. He had been heading to work and had been driving on the bridge over the Canadian River when he spotted a large dark shape wading through the water at around knee depth. The creature was about at a distance of 80 to 120 yards and was heading for the northern bank. Well, he noted that it was walking on two legs, but otherwise was unable to make out any details. Keen to get another look at the creature, he turned his vehicle around and drove back, but by the time he reached the river, it was nowhere to be seen. We later clarified that the beast had been huge and was wider than a 50-gallon drum. As a veteran deer hunter, Power is certainly no stranger to identifying wildlife, and whatever this was, it was nothing he had ever seen before. Looks like we got another believer, folks. Okay, just had to have a little applause. I like it. I like it when people become believers. As things stand, exactly what it was that he saw that day continues to remain a complete mystery. Well, there you go. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And again, it's those, I don't know, just moments in time. You just never know when this stuff is going to show up. And it's nice to try to plan when you're going to receive something like this. Like, for instance, I do paranormal investigating looking for ghost activity and stuff. And so when I go, I have full expectations and awareness that I'm going to experience something. And generally speaking, we do pretty good. I got to admit that every location that we've gone to, we've had some really anomalous stuff happening. So I'm batting really pretty solid on this ghost investigating thing, at least from what I can tell. Hello, Car Juice. But, and if you're looking for Bigfoot, you might plan to go out into an area where Bigfoot is being seen. And you might not see anything. You might not get anything, but at least you got out in the wilderness, and that's always good and refreshing and good for the soul. But you just never know. I was just thinking about it. It's like I go out and investigate, and I expect things to happen when I can do that. But honestly, I think incidentally and just anecdotally, I've had more weird stuff happen when I'm just sitting here in the studio in my home than I've had in most of the investigations I've done, and so that's pretty cool. But you just never know when it's going to show up. And I keep saying this because I want to be right. I want to be right on this, and that I think the next Patterson-Gimlin film is going to probably be coming from a dash cam. Somebody's going to have a dash cam, and they're just going to be at the right place at the right time when one of these Bigfoot decide that they're going to cross right in front of a car in the middle of nowhere on a mountain road and just decide, yeah, hold my beer, watch this. And somebody's going to catch it on film, and it's going to be amazing and fantastic. But I don't know. They're not on a schedule. This stuff's not on a schedule, folks. It shows up when it shows up, how it shows up, and there's no planning for it, really. But I think that's wild. I mean, this guy had never seen one before. Now he's seen it, and he can't argue with it. Again, is it possible that he's misunderstanding it? Sure. But allegedly, the guy's a familiar being an outdoorsman and hunting, and I think hunters are pretty adept at identifying stuff, in the wilds around them. So at least things that they're prepared to identify. But if it was that big and it was that intimidating, just on a driving along and seeing a Bigfoot crossing the stream, that's pretty incredible. So there you go. First story. I don't know. I think that's a good one. It's a good way to start. We started with the paranormal. We're going to get into some modern mysteries now for our second story, ladies and gentlemen, because we're going back to unexplained-mysteries.com. And this one's been around for a while. It is a new article about this, but I'd certainly seen references to this in many cases through the years. But let's revisit it and talk about it because mystery disc-shaped object spotted in Antarctica on Google Maps. And I'm assuming this is the one that's been around for a while. Maybe it's a new one. Maybe it's a new one on Google Maps, but let's see what it says. Eagle-eyed Google Earth sleuths have discovered a strange disc-like object on the Antarctic ice. Anomaly hunters have spotted some unusual things on satellite images over the years, and this example, which looks like a dark saucer-like disc half embedded in ice, is no exception. And here's the image. And yeah, that doesn't look like the rough-hewn rock all around it. It looks like a very machined shape. That is anomalous for sure. So let's continue. Situated 90 miles from the coast of Antarctica, it can be found at, I'm going to put these, well, I guess I could just put the article in here, but I'm going to put these coordinates in here. If anybody uses Google Earth, maybe you can look it up, see what you think, if it's as anomalous as it's suggesting here. I haven't, and so it'll be interesting to see what your guys' take is. It is located around 45 miles from Mill Island and 6 miles from the A.B. Dobrowolski. Man, that's a tough one to say. Dobrowolski. All right. Polar Station. Sorry. I just beat the hell out of that name. Sorry. I couldn't make my tongue do it. I was trying, though. Of course, given its distinctive disc shape, it didn't take long for social media users to begin suggesting that it's some sort of crashed UFO, perhaps a bit like something out of The Thing. That's a creepy movie. But is it really as it seems? Zooming out, the angle is a little misleading. It is possible that the disc is actually an area of shadow or a rock formation just happens to look circular from above. According to Professor Bethan Davies, here we go with the mundane explanation time, a glaciologist at the University of Newcastle, the most likely explanation is that it is in fact a small lake of water situated within a rock basin. There is a small patch of snow, and the warmer lake water has a lower albedo, so it absorbs more solar radiation, she told Mail Online. This is melting snow, giving it the semicircular arc, not a UFO. Yeah, I don't know what this should look like, if this is the correct orientation. But could it be? I guess, but it's still an incredibly circular lake, which seems unusual. I don't know. I don't know if I'm buying the lake thing. It does almost look like it's got a ridge here showing a thickness, right? Like that looks like there's a thickness to this, but could that just be the edge of the ice that we can see as it has melted down? It could be. Yeah. I mean, certainly anomalies like this are not necessarily evidence in and of themselves, but it suggests that it might be evidence and should be looked into. Yep, I saw the Admiral Byrd video today. If I could, I would go. I wanted to join military to see such sights, but got married and then got too old. But I'm not out of the game yet. You damn right, Barbara. We're not out of the game yet. Dog Digger says it's then, what does it say? There's a lot going on under the ice down there than just the Germans, likely others. Yeah, I mean, there's the legends of Nazi bases being buried under the ice. I don't know. I don't pretend to know. Again, I'm just a lay person here in the northern tip of Idaho looking into a lot of weirdness. So what is it? I don't know. Could it be a UFO? I mean, it looks very UFO-y. Looks like a very consistent disc-like shape. But what is it we're looking at? Hell, I don't know. It's pretty crazy, though. But I will put the entire article link in the chats as well. And I encourage you guys to go look at it and check out those coordinates. I'm curious what you guys think if you zoom in on it. And maybe this isn't a very good cropping. I'd love to see several different depths and distances of what we're looking at here, because when you're so zoomed in on something, it's hard to get an understanding for the ground around it. Is this the only geometric type of shape around there, and everything else is just very, very, very chaotic. Because that does make it look very suspect when it's just a bunch of anger. I'm not anger. I have no anger. I'm happy. But there's just a bunch of these, rough hewn rocks with just arbitrary angles. And then there's this one smoothly machined, almost looking shape that does stand out in pretty distinct contrast. So, I mean, it is worth looking into, I think. The Nazis have secrets of Antarctica and underwater tunnels. Yeah, could be. I don't know. The Black Pyramid under the ice. Yeah, I've heard about that, too. There's, allegedly ancient civilizations under there. I mean, there's lots of incredible stories. Apparently, there's an access to inner Earth down in Antarctica, too, like a big hole that goes to the inner Earth. And, hell, I don't know. I mean, what do I know? I'm just, an idiot with a microphone here, but it is interesting. It's interesting. I mean, I think what makes it the most interesting, though, is it's probably it's definitely the least explored continent on the face of the planet. So, there's bound to be a lot of ideas and fantastical ideas about it just because we don't know. And whenever we don't know, we fill in a lot of blanks. But could they all be wrong? No, I don't think so. I think there's something definitely unique going on down there, but I don't pretend to know what it is. So I'll leave that to more devoted people than myself. All right, that was the article there. Hope you guys found value in that. We got another one, and by God, we're going to get to that now. This one's kind of weird. I've had this one open for a few, several shows, actually. I just didn't get to it the first time, but this is not what you'd like to see in a cave, I wouldn't think. But maybe you would. Maybe this is an exciting find, but it's kind of creepy to me. Let's check it out from the paleontology files of unexplained-mysteries.com. Mystery surrounds cave skull with stalagmite growing through it. And there's the image. Yeah, that's creepy. I mean, it looks like it got impaled, right? Unless this skull has a horn, but it looks like it got impaled on the rock. Let's see what it says. I don't know. They're calling it the Petrolona man skull. Ugh. How old does it have to be that covered with stalagmites? So stalagmites come from the floor of a cave and build. Stalactites are the ones that hang from the top and come down. So it's definitely stalagmites, but I just wonder about this protrusion here. It's like, did he have a bad fall and just literally drive a rock through his skull, or what happened here, or her? I don't know if it's what gender we're dealing with here, but let's see. Researchers have been attempting to solve the mystery of a 300,000-year-old skull found in Greece. Oh, wow. 300,000 years. I mean, and I don't know what we're looking at here. Is this an early predecessor to Homo sapien, or is this Homo sapien? I don't know. I'm obviously not a paleontologist, so I don't know, but let's see what it says. Discovered within the darkness of the Petrolona cave, this remarkable skull, which belongs to an archaic species of human, is notable for the fact that it has a stalagmite growing directly through it. Initially found in 1960 and often referred to as the Petrolona man, this intriguing specimen has long left paleoanthropologists scratching their heads. A recent study has concluded that it's neither Neanderthal nor is it human, leaving a question mark over exactly which species of archaic human ancestor it actually belonged to. The only thing we can say for certain is that the individual was a male. Okay, so it's a guy. Or it was a guy. The skull is now believed to date back to at least 300,000 years, possibly longer, depending on exactly how long the stalagmite growing through it took to form. One possibility is that it belonged to the species of Homo heidelbergensis, but this has yet to be confirmed. Whatever the case, the skull remains one of the world's most unique paleoanthropological discoveries. Wow. I don't know. It just seems, I mean, that looks very human, right? I don't know how it differs from a normal skull. Let's see. I guess this is a mock-up of a human skull. So you can see there's a difference. I guess the mandible, the upper mandible is more narrow than what we're looking at there. Of course it'd be like this because there's no teeth. Well, maybe there's some teeth left. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's obviously a variation. It's got a flatter cranial dome than ours, the stalagmite one. But yeah, crazy. You hear that in there? That's when the minion was little. He broke this. And the little pegs that are supposed to keep the jaw attached are floating around in there. God bless him. There we go. So, I don't know, a little bit of science. Maybe Dogman. Ooh. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, they do talk about Dogman having the more, you know, not a real long protruding snout in a lot of cases. They're much more lesser. I don't know. But it's pretty crazy. Now you know. If you didn't know before, you're welcome. That's what we do here on the news. We maybe introduce you to some new information, have some fun with some old information, and just doing what we do. Oh, thank you, Joseph Crow. God bless you. Appreciate the donation. Is that a stake in its forehead? I think that's what I'm wondering. Is like, what is the protrusion coming out? Is that just a rocky or a mineral outgrowth that's just kind of built upon that skull head? And what's it resting on? And how did it rest in that position? I don't know. I just don't know what we're looking at. It'd be neat if they'd scan it or something just so you could see, where's the bone and what is this? Is this a horn? I don't know. Crazy, whatever the hell it is. But 300,000 years old, that's... it's funny to me because I can remember, man has been around for about 15,000 years, 20,000 years max. I remember hearing stuff like that. And now this is a predecessor to modern humans, but it's some form of ancestor to ours. And it's at least 300,000 years old. So I think we've been around a lot longer than has previously been suggested. But... there you go. You might not have known about that before today, but now you know. And that's the goal of every news. I hope you guys find some cool, interesting, fun information on every show. You're welcome. All right, let's wrap up the news and get back to the rest of the show. We're going to get into the question of the week here in a moment. So I don't know about you, but I'm ready to see what the question is and what you guys had to say about it. So buckle up. We're going in. Yeah, it's true. Barbara over in Rumble says, looks like it has pretty big canines. It does. I mean, I don't know if they've been worn down or if they've just fallen out over the ages. But hello, Portal Mom. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Portal Mom says, hi, paranormal peeps. Hi, Brent. Good to see you, Mom. Thanks for coming in. It's always wonderful to have Mom visiting. Ladies and gentlemen, Portal Mom. It's in the chat over on YouTube. So... let's get to the question of the week. Are you guys ready? I'm ready. Hopefully it doesn't go all black again. Oh, I got to do this first to get rid of that. Let me make sure I'm in the right place before we transition to this, because I just really have loved the question of the week. I think it's been a cool thing, a fun addition to the shows, and it's a great opportunity to see what you guys think about stuff. I think that's cool. Hi, Shellbell. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I think it's Shell Bell, right? Michelle Bell. All right. I hope so. Good to see you guys, though. All right. I guess it's time. So let's get into it and dig into the question of the week. Where is it? There it is. Overlay, not that one. Is it that one? Yep, it is. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for the Discord question of the week, where we get into all the questions and curiosities of what the hell is this stuff, this weird stuff called the paranormal. Is this the one? 24th? I think this would be the right one, wouldn't it? Yeah, this would be the one. That's the question from last Sunday when Chucky asked it. So we're on the right parts. This is our Discord server. You can't really see it. There's a lot going on the screens. I guess I can make the ghost radar a little smaller here. Hold on. Make it a little tinier so you got some more real estate to look at. I could move me maybe a little bit. Oops. Didn't mean to move that. There we go. I can move me over here because I'll sit next to the logo looking at the chat. Oh, you guys are so interesting and fun. But look over here for the question of the week. All right. I got everything laid out, I think. Okay, this is our Discord, and thrilled to have you guys here. And those of you that are, this is how you join. Use the link that's been dropped several times in the chats. It's in the show description as well. So we'd love to have you join. It costs you nothing. Discord's a little different of a program, but it's not really complex. It's not really hard. It's just trying to figure out how to navigate it. It's a little awkward. It was for me personally, so I'm speaking from personal experience. But take a moment and learn how to do it. It's fine. Hello, Linda. Good to see you. There you are. Good to see you. Standing Stone 1776. Is Discord an app? It is. It is. And you can go to discord.gg and download one. Download the app. It's absolutely free. Doesn't cost you anything, Standing Stone. So go to discord.gg, and then once you get an account made, or just go to discord.gg/paranormal portal, and that'll kind of start the process for you and give you an opportunity to download the app if you want. You can do it through a web browser, I think, anyway, if you choose to. You don't have to download the app, but the app just makes it a little easier, I think. But it's up to you. But yeah, just take a moment. There is a thread in here for any new users like, I don't really understand Discord. It's confusing me. Here's a thread. Where is it? There is a thread here. Why am I not seeing it? Oh, here it is. Discord tutorials. And if you take a moment, you just click on, these are the subjects you can pick on. You can click on if you're interested in a specific subject matter like Bigfoot, Dogman, Ghost, UFO. Just click on it with your mouse. And then this is the discussion thread window over here. You just use your mouse wheel and scroll up and go to the top and then start reading your way down. But I clicked on the Discord tutorial. There's some videos that Sheldon, my son, who built this for us, he put together a few of these links to help show you how to use Discord. It's not a tough program. Again, it's just a little odd and awkward to some people, but just take some time and go through the tutorials and you'll be fine. But what we're here for now is the question of the week. Let's just look and see if anybody's joined. Oh, Joanne joined. All right. Wave to say hello. Welcome, Joanne. Great to have you here. Great to have you here. All right. So here we are, the Discord question of the week. Here's the question Chucky asks. And again, this is championed by our very own Chucky Danger. Yeah, Rachel says, I didn't understand Discord at first. Now I'm on several different Discords. Yeah, there's not only the Paranormal Portal Discord, but chances are there's Discords for groups that of hobbies of yours or other shows have Discords as well. So, feel free to look around and find a lot more to join. It doesn't cost you anything to join most of them, or they don't really have a barrier to it. Just join. Get involved in different communities. Discord's a lot of fun. So here's the question Chucky asked us this week. He said, there's plenty of discussion of great cataclysmic events in our ancient past. Every culture seems to have a flood myth. Do you think that these tales are accurate? Has our civilizations been reset before? Potentially many times. And does this explain the disappearance of mythological creatures? Ah, sure. The old Nephilim and, of course, others like griffins and any number of other strange creatures that once were believed to be in our world. Unicorns, dragons, etc., etc. So are these floods the reason that they're no longer here? I don't know. Great question. Let's see what you guys had to say. We'll start with Eric, the Wandering Purple Hobbit, weighed in first. He said, yes. Archaeology got it covered. Volcanoes, floods, and diseases have all contributed to this, probably. Maybe they just find extra hidden places to hang out. Their descendants reappear. Yeah, it could be. Could be. Maybe they weren't just completely eradicated. I know the Hopi tribe in the U.S. has a legend of some form of mud flood, but there was beings from the inner earth that they called the Anunnaki, and they were called like the ant people, but they named them the Anunnaki. I don't know if that's the translation for ant people, but these ant people apparently took them into the earth to keep them safe throughout the period of this flood, and that's what they attribute to their survival, was intervention by these ant people. And interestingly enough, that they were named them the Anunnaki, which is also obviously the from the tales of the Sumerians, the Anunnaki people from Nibiru and all of that. So interesting stuff. But yeah, perhaps there were interventions of sorts to help protect some. Shelley says she's thinking about it. She wasn't sure. That's fair enough. Plain Endo Gaming, good to hear from you. Although I believe most history is a lie, I do feel that we are the fifth kind. After 4 cataclysmic events, the obvious signs are for everyone to see. That's interesting. The fifth kind. Wow. Maybe we are. Maybe we're a fifth version of life that's developed on this world. And who knows if the previous versions were even like us? Maybe there was something else. Hard to say. Maybe there were some of the reptoids and stuff that kind of appear now as we consider them like extraterrestrial type of beings or interdimensional. But maybe they're just predecessors that survived and they just stayed way more advanced than us. All right, let's go to Lenda. What is this? ZX81V2 says, Space Weather News, the Earth Disaster Documentary. Oh, that looks interesting. So definitely you guys can check out that. I appreciate that link, ZX81V2. Linda comes in and says, I definitely think there's truth to these stories of ice ages. Not sure we were totally wiped out, but definitely stages of ice and then warming. Sure. Yeah, there's definitely plenty of evidence and proof even to validate that. But interestingly enough, there's also a lot of alleged archaeological proof that there was major flooding, even on some mountain ranges that shouldn't have ever experienced flooding. And I think Pumapunka, which is a location where there's some pretty advanced stone carvings that would be almost impossible even to replicate with our technologies today. But some of what they believe might have smashed and moved all of that around was a deluge of water. And that's pretty sobering thought, really. Because that's at elevation. That's at thousands of feet of elevation. So anyway, Trace Linnell comes in and says, I agree with the above. Truth of history does shine through in all the worldwide stories passed down generation to generation. Grand solar max or minimum much? Earth cycles happen. And that's a great point. Obviously, most often these deluges and these destruction stories are attributed to the will of some divine presence, but maybe it's not being as directed as that. I don't know. Just a thought. But perhaps we don't understand the cycles of our Earth much because we've only been paying attention to it for a very short time in a collective scientific methodology. So, maybe there is cycles of these deluges that happen every so often. I mean, we do believe there's polar shifts, right? And that could be one of the calling cards of these cataclysms, that when these sudden polar shifts happen, it moves the crust in such an incredible way that it creates these storms beyond measure that we just can't even categorize on our scales. Like, that tornado's an F4, F5. Well, maybe it'd be a F15 tornado or I don't know what the hurricanes are, category 18 hurricane if you experienced a big polar shift. I don't know. So we just don't know. But interesting thoughts. The Unknown comes up next, says, hey, Brent, hey, chat. Before you start reading, let me just say that you do not have to read all of this. It's a long one. I'm not. Let's see what I did there. Yeah, I saw what you did there. I didn't read that part. It is a long one, but I'm going to read it anyway because you took the time to write it. I'm going to take the time to read it. It says, nearly every culture on Earth, from the Sumerians and the Hebrews to Native Americans, Hindus, and Chinese, preserves a memory of a great flood. The similarities are striking. Waters rise, humanity is nearly destroyed, and a chosen few survive. Often by boat to repopulate or rebuild, these weren't connected cultures trading stories. They were scattered across the globe. Such consistency suggests that they were all remembering the same world-changing events. Excuse me. Science also points to real cataclysms that could explain these legends. At the end of the last ice age, melting glaciers caused sea levels to rise by hundreds of feet, swallowing vast coastal lands. Where early civilizations once lived, events like the Black Sea deluge or North America's Missoula floods show how sudden and devastating these floods could be. To the people who witnessed them, the world would have seemed to drown overnight. What makes the case stronger is how detailed these stories are. They don't just describe water, they describe survival, chosen families, boats, and a renewal. Those aren't random coincidences. They are human memories wrapped in myth. So were ancient people correct about a great flood? Very likely. Yes, not necessarily as divine punishment, but as the way humanity preserved the memory of surviving one of history's most terrifying and transformative disasters. Yeah, that's crazy. I'd heard about that Missoula flood. I think that's what happened up here. There's a story that in ancient days, that a great flood happened here in the north of Idaho, and washed down to the more southern part of this region. So yeah, that's crazy. All right, next up is Rachel. Rachel says, I think there have been massive floods on different continents that were recorded both in historical records and a word of mouth. Not one great biblical flood, but massive ones to destroy some civilizations. Some civilizations have reset, if only human memory was completely conscious with each generation. What remarkable knowledge we would have. Some creatures that we call mythological might have been wiped out, and the early history has made them myth. Some may have survived, and we now call them folk tales, specifically the little folk. Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's hard to say. Very good points. Next up comes our Barbara Mora. Good to see you, Barbara. Over in Rumble, holding down the fort. Great to have you other dog diggers over there with her. She says, I think there have been several extinction events on this living planet. Since I consider the planet as a living being. Yeah, so do I. And like most living beings, they need to purge whenever the organisms that live on it get to be destructive to the host, which is Earth. I believe it's the same process for the planet, Gaia. Some say there have been 4 to 5 extinction events. I think there have been many more. So yeah, I think mythological creatures were real. Yeah, good point. Karen, did you send me a sound file? Oh, so I didn't realize using the finger or the microphone due to finger laziness would end up recording. So in case it can't be heard, yes, I believe there have been many extinction events or reboots. The flood did happen, and there is proof of that. Dinosaurs may be the explanation for the mythological creatures. Good point. Good point. Even maybe not even dinosaurs, but more modern examples of. Like there was a woolly rhino in North America that's no longer here. There's obviously saber-toothed tigers, things that weren't caused extinctions by man-made events necessarily. Hell, the woolly mammoth, et cetera, et cetera. So there's lots of creatures that are no longer here that might have been the stuff of some of these legends, some of these stories of strange creatures that were larger than and bigger and more fearsome, and maybe there were some of these kind of things that just by luck of the draw or some kind of biological lottery, they just lost, and they got wiped out, or just fell into extinction for whatever reasons. John T comes up and says yes. That's very concise. Right way to get to the point. So, great thoughts, everybody. Thank you all for weighing in on this. I appreciate it. Fantastic stuff. Fantastic stuff. Oh no, somebody's missing. I hate that when you get those Amber Alerts. Somebody's missing. Oh, 16-year-old Bailey Moeller. Oh, God bless. I hope she finds her way home or she's found. Last seen on Friday. Yesterday, okay. Oh, in our town. Oh, no. Doesn't have a working phone with her. Family has no contact. Well, God bless. I hope she's okay. Ugh, I hate that stuff. Oh, I can't imagine a fresher kind of hell than losing a child. I don't know how you do that. How do you continue, at all? I know that I probably wouldn't. I would become a tragic train wreck of a person if I lost my children. I just don't know. Yeah. If Brent were able to read the chat, LOL. What am I missing, Grandizer? I was busy reading Discord. Thank you for your criticism. What were you talking about? A real good radio show from way back, May Brussels. Okay. Look into her. She did amazing research before the internet. Okay. Very cool. Standing Stones. Appreciate that. Sabretooth Brent Thomas. Oh, the horror, the horror. Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about, Grandizer. What did I not read? I want to say I always heard a show in San Francisco, California. It was like Coast to Coast that had aired around the same time in the late 80s. Oh, that's interesting. I know George Norrie had a show that predated his involvement with Coast to Coast, but it was called Nighthawk. I think it was called Nighthawk. And it was out of St. Louis. And you can hear about that if you listen to my interview with George that I did on the podcast. George graced my podcast with his presence. Wonderful guy. But interesting. I don't know of another one, but it doesn't surprise me. I'm sure there were plenty of people trying to compete with art. Yeah, absolutely. So, sorry, my eye is starting to get burny. Not Sanders, just irritated. There we go. So this has been the Discord question of the week. If not for sites like this, my head would explode, T-Bone. Well, I'm glad your head's not exploding. We don't want that. Don't bring back the woolly mammoth. Just bring back the holy Brent Thomas woolly bully. Holy bully? Woolly bully? Okay. Woolly bully. Woolly bully. You don't got to bring me back. I'm still here. If something happens, then do what you can. But so far, I'm still here. There can be only one. I'm like the Highlander. Grandizer. Just like the Highlander. Oh, good. We got more spam over on Twitch. Awesome. All right. Well, that's the got company here in the studio. Standing roughly right over here. I guess. Somewhere. Maybe that's what's irritating my eyes. Maybe my eyes are sensitive to spirits. And they start burning when they're around. I don't know. Hope not. I don't smell anything. No funky gases or noxious anythings. But this has been the Discord question of the week, ladies and gentlemen. So hopefully you found lots of merit and wonder in this experience. Please watch for those questions. Chucky puts a new one up every week. Again, you're all welcome to join. We'd love you to join the Discord and become part of the discussion. So let's get back to the rest of the journey. There it is. All right, that was the Discord question of the week. Wonderful. Thank you for all your participation, everybody. You did marvelous. I really appreciate it. Great thoughts, too, by the way. You guys have some... that's why I love that segment so much, is you guys have some great ideas and great ways of putting together a lot of these puzzle pieces that I probably never would have thought of. So you're always humbling me with your amazing insights. Maybe I shouldn't have a fan pointed towards my face as I'm doing the show. I don't know. Darn oily skin. You sound marvelous. You sound marvelous. Absolutely, Billy Crystal. I remember that back in the day. I just wish my eye felt marvelous. It'll stop here in a moment, but it's just like once it starts like weeping, then the blowing air from my fan hits it, and it makes it even more weepy. Anyway, there we go. I think I'm better now. That was the question of the week. Again, every week, Chucky puts that up there. But again, we don't have any scheduled shows for this next week, so you probably have 2 weeks to answer the next question of the week because I'm going to be busy. I'm going to be very busy, as a matter of fact. Next few weeks is going to be a lot of whiplashing for me personally. All right. So there we go. That was that. Hopefully y'all enjoyed that. And let me, actually I can just close Discord for now because we don't need to go there again. Allergies or dust, I think it's actually has more to do with my skin oils. I have very oily skin, just always have had. I get that from Portal Mom actually, but I've noticed that around my eyes, sometimes the skin oils actually get into my eyes and it just starts burning. I think it's maybe a high pH level in my skin oils. I don't know. I agree with the itchy eye thing. Yeah, you never know, Shelley. Maybe it is a spiritual warning thing. You never know. Give it another 20 years, Brent. I don't even know if I got 20 more years in me, to be honest with you, but I'm going to go as far as I can. But we'll see. All right. Hattie told Maddie about the things she saw. 2 big horns and a woolly jaw, woolly bully. Yeah, now you got that in my head. Thank you, Michelle. Appreciate it. Paranormal Portal Brent. Welp. We will still be here waiting on your return. Thank you. I appreciate that. You guys are amazing. So now we're going to get back to that article from Thought Catalog that we were going into before. And this has been a fun article. I think we're going to try to finish it off if we can. I think we can. And then we're going to get into the cryptid corner to polish things off tonight. So we have been going through this Thought Catalog article from thoughtcatalog.com. Again, this is another amazing of the amazing sites. This is another one that I've really enjoyed through the years. That they and I'm kind of a little bit saddened because they used to do these kind of articles pretty regularly, and they were exceptionally fun and interesting to go through, and we still go through them on the show because there's so many of them out there. But they used to do these, Reddit surveys, and people would weigh in with their own experiences, and that's what this article consists of, as have many others that we've read through the years. But I've just always loved these articles, but it doesn't seem like they're doing as many now. In their more spooky category on Thought Catalog, they're more doing pop culture and horror movies and that kind of stuff, and that's not really as much my thing. I'm sure it's a huge audience all the same, but I really miss these kind of articles. So I hope they get back to that because this really has been a lot of fun, and eventually I'm going to run out of them because we will have gone through them. But this is written by January Nelson, and this article is from 2019, and it's been an exceptional article. So I think we're on number 23. Yeah, we are on number 23, and this article is 33 paranormal stories that even skeptics are going to freak out over. Yeah, I think that I think my favorite experiencer stories come from skeptics. I like those the most because a lot of times skeptics are some of the worst critics of all of this stuff, all of this strange and unusual stuff in the world. The skeptics are incredibly brutal sometimes. So I think it's fascinating and fun when it's like, oh, I didn't believe in ghosts, but, and then they have these incredible experiences like, see, we were telling you, we told you, but they were just discarded all the time. But then they have these experiences. But there's another side of that where these skeptics, and we've covered many of these stories through the years, but it's like, I don't believe in ghosts, but this one time, and they'll go on to explain this incredible series of events that are just like, oh my God. And then it'll end with, so I don't know what happened, but I don't believe in ghosts. It's like, how can you recite this incredible array of events and then get back to, but I don't believe in ghosts? And I think the deal is that, of course, everybody clings to their paradigm. Everybody clings to their belief structure because that's safe. It's known. And when you know the world around you, then it becomes safer and becomes more stable. But this stuff throws everything on its head, and suddenly the world is unusual and unpredictable. And I don't think they like that kind of idea. So they will defend their paradigm fiercely. And I understand. I mean, I think it's probably human nature, but still, some of the stories are so incredible. And yet they still, at the very end, it's like, so I don't know what that was, but I don't believe in ghosts. It's like, how? There you go. Well, there you go. What did I miss in the chat? Grandizer. Brent, oil from your body that got in your eye, or Taco Bell hot sauce that you didn't wash off your hand? No, I don't eat too much Taco Bell, honestly. Mrs. Portal doesn't like it, so I don't get too much Taco Bell. I love Taco Bell personally, but it got my eyes. Yeah, that would be horror, though. I don't usually eat hot sauce, though, for the record. I've got a pretty mundane palate for the most part. Not really cutting edge with all that fiery Satan's sphincter sauce or whatever. It's like, no, I'm good. I don't want to suffer through my meals. I just want to eat them and be happy. But some people do it, and my hat's off to them if they can. So let's get to this, the rest of this article, and see if we can polish it off. Sandy M says, I believe in ghosts. Me too. I've had way too many experiences, Sandy. And incredible amount of experiences, not only as a researcher, but as just a person working through my life. I've lived in a couple of houses that were very haunted and had some pretty incredible stuff going. Or maybe I'm haunted and I dragged it with me. I'm not quite sure what that story is there, but anyway, yeah, these things find me. I never fully believed. I was mistaken. I guess I missed the assignment. Fair enough, Michelle. I mean, sometimes coming to the understanding of this stuff is a process. And T-Bone says he's got sriracha in his veins. I do like sriracha. I'll tell you, one of my favorite gutter foods that I make, and it sounds kind of trashy, but I'm telling you, it's really good. Is if you make like Kraft macaroni and cheese, and you can use different varieties like the white cheddar, or they used to make this Alfredo one, which was amazing. I don't know if it still make it or not, but I used to love their Alfredo one. But you get it all done, you get it all whipped up, it's all mixed up, ready to go, and then you squirt in some sriracha. And I'm telling you, that is probably one of the most perfect foods of the gods. Just saying. It could be the manna from heaven. I'm not sure. But it's really good. I mean, I do like a little bit of spice sometimes. So I don't go crazy on the heat, but yeah, something about Kraft macaroni and cheese, or macaroni and cheese and some sriracha just makes me happy. Jose says, regardless of whether skeptics believe in the paranormal or not, it does exist, and there's nothing they can do about it. It's real, and they can't shoo it away. Face, blue, wide eyes. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I certainly think so. But there again, if somebody doesn't want to believe, they just won't. And it won't matter what you confront them with or what they're confronted with. They will just hang on to it until they just have no other choice and have to acknowledge something's weird going on. But even then, they'll try to get back to their happy place. It's human nature, I think. I resist change personally too, so I can't begrudge a skeptic their desire to hang on to that the way things are or what they believe they are. It's a safe place. You're right. It's denial. Sure enough. All right, let's get to this article and see what we can dig up here. This is, I think we're on number 23 of this article, again by January Nelson from Thought Catalog. 33 paranormal stories even skeptics are going to freak out over. It's been a great article. I wish it was longer, but we only get what we get, so we'll deal with that. 23. When we were burning my grandma's belongings, a small vortex of sparks came up and kept following my sister around, regardless of where she moved in the circle, and there was no wind. Tell me, all of you guys out there listening, tell me you've never been around a campfire and it doesn't matter where you sit, the smoke continues to blow in your face. I'm telling you, that happens to me all the time. And it seems like something is just dicking with you. I mean, what are the odds that you're on different sides of the campfire and the wind will shift and then come towards you there? It's like, damn it. And yeah, Michelle's like, me. Yeah, exactly. I think every one of us has had that happen. And I think that might even be, I don't know, some mischief, a mischief maybe. I don't think it's nefarious, but I think it almost seems intelligent. I mean, what are the odds that everywhere you move, that's where the wind will come? It'll just keep blowing in your face. It's like, it's maddening, absolutely maddening. All right, yeah, so it sounds like this was more of a Sparks thing, but it kept following. Kept following him. All right, let's go to 24. Where the hell's my mouse? There it is. My mother passed when I was 22. It was an accident and a shock, and my husband and I went 3 states away to stay at her house for a bit just to pack things up and settle out her estate. I've always had really bad problems with my sinuses. Well, the stress and everything just got me sick, and I had a horrible sinus infection. I had medicine, and I was on the couch crying after looking everywhere for it, and my husband was sitting next to me, just holding me. And then we looked over on the table where the Bible was opened, and the meds were sitting on the Bible. The Bible had been there earlier, closed. I remember setting it there myself. My husband started freaking out because on the page it was open to, a verse was underlined, and it was the only one in the whole book underlined, and it said, "And the grieving shall be comforted." I usually would not put any credence in this. I was sick and a mess. My husband was not. He's a very level-headed person when it comes to things like this. Also, quite a few other things happened for a while after that. I like to think my mom was trying to help me cope. I really hope that she found peace, because I did. That's a beautiful story. I love that story. What an amazing experience. I mean, why was her medicine missing? I don't know. But it sounds like the mom showed up and made sure that her daughter was okay. That's very cool. That's the kind of reassurances that really make you feel like, oh, that's wonderful. That's beautiful. I like those. I like those a lot. Let's go to 25. I've had many experiences since I was a kid. The one that freaked me out the most, though, actually happened to me a few months ago. I'm only 16. I don't like sleeping in my room, so I sleep on the couch in the living room. My choice. It's actually really comfy. I also suffer from insomnia and have trouble staying asleep. And this being said, I'm normally awake when my dad gets up for work at 4 in the morning and will wish him a good day at work and such. I was trying to sleep, but I woke up having gone through this many times. I just kept my eyes shut. And then I felt something like a leg lean against the side of the couch and hover over me. And then I heard heavy and low breathing. Well, that's creepy. I was so loud and sounded like a man, so naturally I just assumed it was my dad, since I thought he was just trying to check and see if I was awake. I whipped around to try and scare him, but nothing was there. I was so confused that I kind of just sat there for a few moments thinking about what had just happened. Wow. Yeah. You're like, boo. Oh, wait. What? You're going to scare somebody and then you end up getting freaked out yourself. That's funny. I guess it happens, but that's really humorous. This person thought they were going to freak out their dad or parent, this male figure that was supposed to be leaning over checking on them, and then they went, oh, and nobody's there. A little creepy. Let's go to 26 and read this one. When my son was about 3.5 years old, we were driving home at night with him and his 7-year-old brother in the back seat. Well, as we approached an area of the road across from my older son's former babysitter's house, my younger son clearly blurted out the name Ashley. Ashley was the name of the babysitter, and she had died the year before in a car accident. My younger son had never met her, and neither son knew that she lived nearby because she always drove to our home to babysit. When I asked my younger son what he said, he repeated the name Ashley, and when I asked him why he said that. He said Raven told him to. Raven was his favorite stuffed animal. My wife and I were stunned and can't explain what happened. Time to get the hell rid of Raven. So what do you do? Okay, that's kind of an interesting story because it's like, all right, mentioning the name Ashley is unusual. But hearing that he was told by his favorite toy to say the weird name that didn't make any sense, that to me is a little creepier. It's like, why the hell is Raven telling you to say stuff? That's a little disturbing. I don't like that one as well. I don't like that one as well at all. But I guess maybe it was more benign than I think. It just sounds creepy as hell. Like if my kids' toys start telling them to do stuff, those toys are no longer a part of our world. Number 27, I was in a class around 4th grade, and this girl in a white dress appeared somewhere in the classroom. I observed paralyzed, and she disappeared. I thought it was my imagination, but the guy next to me asked, "Did you see that too?" It still freaks me out. Oh, wow. So I'm trying to understand what they said. I observed paralyzed. Did that mean like frozen, couldn't move the muscle? You're just like, or fear frozen? Or what does that mean? I don't know for sure, but still, that's fantastic that somebody else saw it too. I think those are powerful moments. When you see things alone, I mean, it's just human nature. Did I really see that? Did I really see what I thought I saw? And that makes it a little more curious. But if somebody next to you goes, did you see that too? It's like, oh, thank God, I'm not alone. I'm not alone. I'm not crazy anymore. Whew. All right, let's go to 28. We're moving through these. The last ones are pretty brief, so we'll have no trouble getting through this article. At my sister's old apartment, you could see into the kitchen from the living room. The kitchen cabinets would open and close, and her dog would immediately start to bark. One night we were watching a movie, and we heard something stumble and hit the ground in her kitchen. And the dog didn't even seem to care. I'm pretty sure we heard a ghost trip and eat crap on their kitchen floor. Do you think ghosts might trip? Is that possible? That they sometimes just trip and fall? I shouldn't laugh because it's always terrible to fall, but it's not something you expect. I mean, when we consider spirits, we just think, well, they're kind of removed from the whole gravity thing because they're an energetic presence, right? But maybe not. Maybe it's just they're a little out of phase, but they're still affected by gravity. That's kind of wild thought. There you go. I think that's hilarious, though. Even the dog didn't mind. Like, yeah, see, you had that coming, dick. I don't know. Maybe. I'd never heard of that before. Did they just hear a ghost wipe out on their floor? Yeah, always taunting everybody. Yeah. In the Poltergeist episode after the show, Arch Ubler told a true story about a poltergeist police responded to in England in the late 1800s. Oh, wow. That sounds very interesting, Phil. Very interesting. Number 29, I was in a classroom alone late at night, and a guitar in the corner seemingly plucked a string on its own. I left immediately. I went back the next night. It was finals week. And as I was leaving, I heard 4 loud steps coming down the stairs that I was just on. I waited for a minute to see if anybody would come, but nobody did. I didn't return at night for a while. I think, I don't think it's just by virtue of it being night that they're suddenly there. I just think maybe we're more receptive to the weird things when there's less going on around us. Like if a guitar string just plucked in the middle of a class and nobody really heard it, it would probably just be dismissed by most everybody. Or would just be discarded if it was heard. Like, well, that's weird. But when things happen when you're alone is when it's much more intense. I know that, like, I don't think twice about going in haunted locations and sometimes alone. But it's a lot more comforting to do it in the daytime when it feels like, okay, at least I can see everything around me okay, and I can respond okay, but when it happens in darkness, you feel a lot more alone. It's a lot more creepy. Interesting. All right, number 30. We got this one and 3 more. I worked nights at a hotel, and I was setting up coffee one morning a few years back, and I see someone very tall in the kitchen. Well, we make eye contact, and dude's wearing an olive green jacket and a pair of jeans. Well, after a second, he lifts his legs at the knees and just floats out the door. Oh, jeez. Now, if I were just seeing things, I would have panicked. I've hallucinated from exhaustion, and the things I've seen scare me. But this was there. This was real. It must be a guest or something in an employee area. This has happened a couple of times. I take off running to catch this guy and tell him he's not permitted back there. But nobody's there, because of course not. The back is empty. I am alone. I was still convinced for several minutes that this guy was just hiding from me and he'd have come out and I'd have been able to talk to him. Almost a full 5 minutes elapsed before I realized I was literally chasing a ghost. Wow. So it just picks up both legs and just floats out. Yeah, that's a lot creepy. Number 31, a lady's voice came from my closet. The door was slightly open and I heard this voice say, "Help me, I see you through the crack." I was scared. I guess, you can all read that word. It's the big S word with a less at the end. But I was also curious and wanting to help, so I opened the door. But nobody was there. I'll never forget this. It still gives me goosebumps just talking about it. Yeah, that's creepy weird. I don't know what it is about closets. I guess there's something definitely tied to closets. Maybe it's by virtue of it just being a doorway. Maybe a doorway is also symbolic, but something about closets is really kind of creepy. I don't know why. It shouldn't be, really, when you think about it. It's just a little partial room off of a room where you put stuff, but it does seem to be a place where a lot of weird stuff manifests. Not sure why. Number 32, I used to work at a haunted hotel front desk. There was a room behind the front desk where you could sit when it was late and nobody was in the lobby. There was a TV with the security cameras, including one on the front desk, so you could see if anyone was out there. You could also see the whole front desk, including the classic bell that people ring for service. A coworker and I were just sitting in the back room. No one was up front, and the bell rang. No one was out there. Over the next hour, the bell rang 6 or 7 times, but only when we were in the back. I don't believe in ghosts, but what the hell? This is a nice 4-diamond old hotel that had huge ballrooms and dining rooms that I had to walk through late at night when I was alone. When I worked overnights, when I worked overnights after that as the only employee in the hotel, I would get freaked out, but never really saw anything else supernatural. Wow. Thank you, Linda. Linda gifted a membership, and the recipient was Michelle Wolfong. Very good. Thank you, Linda, for making that happen. Michelle, congratulations. You're a month member. Glad to have you. That's very cool. Thank you so much. Yeah, I don't think it's unusual that hotels are active locations or at least a place where ghosts might show up pretty regularly. I've investigated several haunted hotels. I don't know. I seem to be on the haunted hotel tour because I've done the Davenport Hotel, the Montvale Hotel, now the Ryan Hotel, and I love all of them. They're all fantastic and interesting, and I think my favorite, though, was definitely the Davenport. And there's a video of that on the investigations tab in my YouTube channel. It was just a marvelous place. The energy of that place was just amazing. And even though there was activity going on, it was never creepy. It was never, you never had a feeling like it was like, ooh, weird, I don't like this. It was never that way. It always felt like you were just in the company of people that also loved this hotel, that also loved this space. And it felt wonderful. I love that place. I would love to go back there several times and continue to investigate. Just a wonderful time. Really, really cool. And the last one, wait, did I read this one? Yeah. Never really saw anything else supernatural. Yeah, okay. All right, number 33, the last one on this list. I was working the counter late at night at Tim Hortons. I heard an older lady set down her china mug and say, "Thanks, dear." Turned around and there was no one in the store. I'm okay with regular dead customer having one last cup. Well, there you go. I wonder if the cup was there. Was there a cup there, though? Or was it just an auditory thing? That's pretty cool. Again, I think we're swimming in a world of spirits. I just think they're all around us all the time. And some of them are aware of us and some of them aren't. They're just doing their thing. Maybe it's more of a time dilation. Maybe it's more of a frequency thing where we're not really aware they're here. They're not really aware we're here. But our worlds kind of intersect sometimes, and then the weird stuff starts. But interesting stories. All of it. That was a fun article. I really liked that one. Hi, Owl. Good to see you. Glad to have you here. Thank you for coming in. That company that birthed the dire wolves is supposedly cooking up a woolly mammoth. Yeah. Due in 2026. The curious thing is I'm not sure that company cooked up dire wolves. I think they just tweaked the genome of gray wolves to mimic features that were common in dire wolves, like physical characteristics. I don't think that they actually ended up using the actual genome of a dire wolf. I just think they looked at the genome of dire wolf and then tried to adapt a gray wolf genome with CRISPR technologies to mimic the features of a dire wolf. And I don't know. I don't think that really qualifies. It's not one and the same. And so I'm curious about the whole mammoth thing because I really want to see a woolly mammoth. I really do. I think that would be amazing to see what that looks like. It sounds, they seem like such incredibly huge and majestic creatures. And to think that they were once roaming all over the North American continent is incredible. And all over the northern hemisphere. But suddenly they're just gone. And if they're just going to mimic it with another known terrestrial animal, I don't know, it's not the same. I really was excited when they did the whole dire wolf thing. I'm like, oh, cool. That's fantastic. Let's bring something back and let's see. Let's have a chance to look at it and study it. But I guess if you're just gonna gene edit an existing terrestrial animal genome, then you're just ending up with I guess a hybrid of sorts. Not even a hybrid, because I don't think they actually injected the original DNA in the dire wolves at all. So I'm not sure what they're going to do, but I am excited to see that. I only want to see a woolly mammoth if I get to see Scrat too. Isn't that from Ice Age? That saber-toothed squirrel or whatever? Is that the name of that little guy? Yeah. I don't know. Things go crazy to think DNA, RNA is being messed with. Yeah, well, yeah, I don't think that's probably as unusual as we've been led to believe. I think they've been doing it for a long time, but I don't know. I don't have superpowers yet, so it's not working. Just saying. Not sure about that. All right, so I guess this is a good time to start diving into the cryptids. Are you guys ready to start talking about cryptozoological creatures and things that are not acknowledged by our sciences, but may very well be out there? I am. I know I am. Don't be bringing back anything that could eat you. Yeah, I mean, I'm not looking forward to saber-toothed tigers showing up again. I'm not really that much into it where it's well, yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think it'd be amazing to be able to see what it's like to look at an actual Tyrannosaurus Rex. But the other side of that is I don't want to see an actual Tyrannosaurus Rex eat somebody or be, you know, break free and go wild or whatever and raise hell. I don't want people to get hurt in it, but I'm desperately curious to see what these animals look like. Like, could you imagine just going out your door and like a Brachiosaurus was out there and it's this enormous sauropod just standing out there eating on a treetop outside your door? It's like, wow. I mean, that must be an incredible experience. Kind of like in the original Jurassic Park when they're driving in those Jeeps onto this island and suddenly they look over and there's the herds of sauropods and things. And it's like, yeah, I mean, that was an amazing moment of film, of cinema. But I think we all just kind of thought, what would that look like to be there? So I'm not saying it was cryptids or monsters, but it was cryptids or monsters. I'm not saying it was or not. I'm just saying if they're gonna bring things back, something like a mammoth or a direwolf, bring them back if you can. That sounds great. I don't know that reintroducing something like a direwolf would really have a huge impact because I don't know that they were so much different from the normal wolves we do have, like timber wolves, gray wolves, you know, the many varieties of wolves that are out there. Would they take on a similar role but be more of a, you know, competing with each other, but in both regards they would probably have a similar impact on the environment that they live in. So I don't know about any of you guys, but I've watched that video, and I don't know how true it is, but it was a beautiful story of, you know, how reintroducing the wolves in Yellowstone basically reinvigorated that whole, you know, the whole area, because it brought back the predator class and helped to control populations, and even rivers changed course due to the changing, changing habits of the rest of the fauna in response to the reintroduction of wolves. And I don't know if that's true or not, but it seems like a beautiful idea that maybe that's the way things were supposed to be if they were in balance. So anyway, I don't know. But anyway, humans and dogs will eat human flesh too. Phil. Yeah, it's been known to happen. There's cannibals, which is, all kinds of disturbing. The Gruesome Twosome. That's a new name. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Unless you're not new and you just rebranded. But in any case, good to see you. I actually have some cryptid and UFI work on there now. On where? I don't know what you're talking about. The Voynage manuscript. Yeah. I'm just trying to catch up with chat a little bit. You guys have been talking a lot. All right. Let's get to the cryptids, though. It's time for the cryptids, folks. We're going to do that right. No, we got to do what the hell is that? It's a very short what the hell is that tonight. It's just one video. It's kind of a follow-up of that mine guy. I wanted to show one more where he found some pretty odd things going on in a location where he was exploring. If you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, on one of the previous what the hell is that, this guy he goes and explores old places and mines and stuff and talks about how they're all made and, you know, goes over how they did it back in the day and stuff. And he ends up hearing this weird, I don't know, it almost sounds like parcel tongue from Harry Potter. It's like, and there's like 5 different voices. Sorry, there's a helicopter going over my house. I live next to a hospital, so sometimes the helicopters come in and always makes me say a silent little prayer for whoever's getting a ride. But anyway, it gets to be kind of noisy. I'm not new, damn it, I'm eternal. Fair enough, Gruesome Twosome, just a name I'm not familiar with. It says, just kidding, I only pop in from time to time, not here every night. Fair enough. I'm glad you made it tonight, though. Thanks for coming in. So let's get to what the hell is that?
The hell is that?
Indeed, what the hell is that? It's time. So let's get to this. I gotta kind of pull it up and realign it. Where is it? Here it is. Here it is. This is from a video. Let's see. I gotta get back to here. It's from a video where the guy...
Need a UGC video?
Oh, God, don't do this to me. Let me let that ad play and so I can cancel it. I just got to mute it so we can make that happen. My computer restarted, so I lost my placeholder. This is where he's exploring an old factory or something that he's found in the mountains, and he's going through there. And the title is Encountering Paranormal Activity at the Abandoned Mine and Mill on Deadwood Creek. And it looks like all of the stuff really happens in the last couple of minutes, and we'll just watch the last couple minutes here, and you guys can see it. But again, he caught that weird parcel tongue kind of speaking. And it was like, several voices all whispering at the same time. And you can't really make out the words or anything. It's very creepy. But he was taken aback by it. And it looks like this is another of his videos that seems like he captured something else. So we'll check that out. No, I'm going to close this. Why is that still open? I got things open all over the place. I've got a flurry of activity here in the portal. Okay, here we go. This is, again, the channel is called Exploring Abandoned Mines and Unusual Places. And his channel is great. It really is. But this video has been seen 762,000 times. And it was posted 7 years ago. I don't know if he's still active. I haven't really checked for any of his newer stuff. But again, he's not known for paranormal videos. He's just known for exploring old places and talking about the history of those places. And the guy does it alone, which I think is also pretty brave. I don't know about going into abandoned places all by yourself. I think there's a number of scary situations where that would be a bad plan. But he must be pretty confident in his own abilities, or he must know the area well enough that he's more comfortable. But it's kind of creepy. I think even if you just, something breaks and you fall and you get hurt, well, who's going to help you? If you don't have cell signal, you're absolutely screwed. These places are abandoned. They may be empty for, months at a time with very little ever traffic coming. But it's very possible you could die long before anybody found you. So I just think always investigate, explore, make sure you got somebody to help you. That's my take on it. Not that you asked, but it's how I roll. Here's the video. Should I remove my camera again? I think I will. I think I'll move my camera. I'm not sure if anything appears on screen. That will be interesting or not, but I'm going to move me. Let me crop me a little bit better here. I'm just going to crop my screen a little bit so I'm not taking up so much real estate over here. There we go. Here it is again. This one is exploring paranormal activity at the abandoned mine and mill on Deadwood Creek. So this time he did apparently title it with the weirdness. And I don't know what we're going to see here. I haven't really rewatched this. I think I watched it long ago, but I don't remember what his evidence was. But let's take a look. And this video is literally 8 minutes, 10 seconds long. And we're going to get about the last minute here. So let's check it out. Oh, I got to re-enable the sound.
So I'm not sure if this was a lab or what. It's not too far from the mine. I don't know. But here is the staircase we came down.
Oh, did you see that? Whoa. Did you see that? Something gets thrown.
It's not too far from...
Something gets thrown from the distant wall towards him. Watch it again, but pay attention into this area of the screen. Let me do this. There we go. All right. Yeah, I was like, what?
In the mine. I don't know. But here is the staircase we came down.
Whoa. Did you see that? This thing flies out from like back here and just kind of flops on the floor towards him. I don't necessarily think it was at him, but it was like something going, hey, let's watch it again.
So I'm not sure if this was a lab or what. It's not too far from the mine. I don't know. But here is the staircase we came down.
Wow.
Whoa. What was that?
There's the piece getting flobbed. It always just sounds way more creepy when they slow down the audio. It's like, oh, thanks for the tour, Satan. So that's kind of creepy, but that's a heck of a capture. You know, I mean, it's just kind of a one-off that just happens.
It's not too far from the mine.
But it's really fantastic to capture something like this, moving. And again, this isn't what the guy's known for. He's known for just exploring weird old places like this, but to catch something actually getting lobbed, I think is pretty incredible. So I had to mute it so we didn't get the devil voice again. That's just creepy sounding. So again, over here you see it, boom, airborne and flops down. It's not like it was thrown with an incredible amount of force, but it's like something's going, hey, you're in my space. So he says, after that disturbance, I decided it was time to leave the area and begin the long hike back along Deadwood Creek. It was dark for most of the hike back, but I encountered no other strange anomalies along the way. Again, I'll put the link in the chats. You guys can check out the video. I love this guy's channel, and I love what he's doing. It's just, that's pretty crazy. So what do you think? Put a 1 in chat if you think that was a pretty fantastic capture of some paranormal activity. Put a 0 if you think, no, that looks a little suspect. Let me know what you're thinking. It's difficult now because lots of people make fake videos. Yeah, but again, this is 7 years old, and again, this is from a channel that's not known for paranormal videos. So Chief Mustache says, nice to meet you, by the way, Chief Mustache. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, we got ones all over the board. Karen Alberding, Pixie Ranger, T-Bone, Sandy, let's see, Pixie Ranger, Sandy M, T-Bone, Yeshua, John Stevenson, Grandizer, Linda, they're all in. Shell Bells all in. Owls all in. Rollings all in. Sharon Sunshine, Man from the West, 420. John Temperance halfway there. Rachel and Kitty Cattywack are in there. Barbara Mora thinks it's legit. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, again, I'm not interviewing the guy. I don't know him. I don't know his character, but I just know that his channel is based around him doing exploring videos. And 2 times now he's caught some pretty crazy stuff. So the whispering, I think, was just as crazy, even though this is a potentially physical manipulation of an object, which is a huge, huge capture to get on film anytime that you're, poking around. But is it impossible that it was hoaxed? No, of course not. You can do string pulls pretty easily and make things fly around. I think that most of what you see on YouTube is that, but I'm not so sure for this case because, again, it's not what he's known for. If he was a paranormal channel, then yeah. And I always take a lot of it with a grain of salt because honestly, not just because it's my own personal experience, but it's most investigators' experiences that you very rarely capture anything profound when you're investigating outside of if you have equipment that can be triggered. That's much more common to get some kind of responses because you have tools and items, which I use a lot when I'm investigating because I don't claim to be psychic and I don't hear them in my head or know where they are. So I need tools and things. But if you're watching a channel where every time they go out, they got things going crazy, doors slamming, glasses breaking, all of that stuff. Well, chances are you're watching entertainment at that point because paranormal activity is just not that common, and especially that much energetic paranormal activity is very, very rare. So if a channel you're watching has it happening every time, I don't know. The odds are against it. It's not impossible, but the odds are against that they would be in the right place at the right time repeatedly to continue to capture that profound activity. It's just the law of averages. But I do believe it happens. There's a Deadwood Creek in Oregon and Idaho. Is that right, Barbara? I didn't know that. I want to see where it is. He just says, I embarked on a solo hike along Deadwood Creek to explore and document an abandoned mine and mill site. The mine tunnel I was able to locate was flooded with stagnant, scummy water. Further bushwhacking and exploration brought me to what I think was some kind of processing or assaying facility. It hasn't been operational in years and is now filled with tons of discarded furniture and junk and poltergeists. Yes, poltergeists. At least that's my rational explanation for the startling experience I had there. So there you go. Pretty fascinating capture, though. But his whole videos, I mean, they're interesting in their own regard because he does talk about historical mining operations and how they did things. And I enjoy it for that. But I like this channel. I like this guy's approach. I think he's incredibly brave, maybe a little less cautious than he should be, but it's his rodeo. He can do what he wants. But this likes to all over the world. What is this? Relocked at vid. So Dog Digger's halfway there on this. Okay, this guy. Okay. Gotcha. Well, I mean, yeah, where is Spokane? Spokane's about 45 minutes or an hour and a half from me. Like, if you go, so it's Highway 90 that goes across near where I live, and Highway 90 cuts through Montana, cuts through North Dakota, Montana, and Idaho, and then into Washington. But if you stay on Highway 90, you'll eventually bump into Spokane. Now, before Spokane comes the town Coeur d'Alene. It's CORD apostrophe ALENE, and that's in Idaho. And I'm north of that by about 45 minutes in a town called Sandpoint. So that's where I'm at. That's where I am. Yep. Davenport Hotel in Spokane. Yeah, that's where I've investigated. And I love that place. It's beautiful. It's like walking into a postcard, it's like walking through a beautiful, ornate castle. It's such an incredibly beautiful place. Just marvelous. I could sit there and just watch the world go by. If I was haunting a place, I could see myself being in the Davenport Hotel. That would be the kind of place that if you're going to haunt, it's just so classy and beautiful. Just amazing. So that was that. I guess we got to get to the cryptids while we still got some time. That ended up taking a little longer than I planned, but that's okay. Let's get to the cryptids and get on with the journey here. All right, who's ready for some cryptids? It's time for the cryptid corner as I queue up everything quick. I'll get there eventually. I'll get there. If we go a little long, we go a little long. No worries. Oh, Rolling says, I was the executive chef at the Marble Hotel in Winnipeg, Manitoba that was haunted. North of Spokane, cryptids. Yeah, there's lots of Bigfooty stuff around here. Not a lot of people, though. The population density is real light, so there's not as many reports just because there's not a lot of people up here. Not comparatively with other parts of the country. Sorry, had to get a little drink. We can go long. I just got here, BJ says. A little update, too, by the way, folks. I did see an announcement by our good friend, Mr. Dave Scott. He's working on updating his studio, and he said he was planning on it just being through this week, but, excuse me, he's looking at a whole nother week. So hang on to your seats. Dave will be back with Spaced Out Radio before you know it, but... yeah, we passed through Coeur d'Alene on our road trip out west, and the area we went through was so beautiful. Yeah, this whole area is amazing up here. It literally is like living in a postcard. Brent covers cryptids, monsters, El Gichi, a mythological serpent found in the lakes and rivers of Bolivia. Don't think I've ever covered that one, but that's fantastic. If you find stories about cryptids and you want me to share it, just send it to me. Send me a link at paranormalportalradio@gmail.com. I'm always happy to take your guys' suggestions. It makes my job easier when you do some of the work for me. So, all right, let's get to the cryptids. We're going to start our journey in Sasquatch Chronicles here. And this is from August 25th. Again, special thanks to Wes, and check out his blog. I know most of you, or all of you, are probably familiar with Sasquatch Chronicles, the podcast. And Wes does an amazing job on that, but he also does an amazing job on his blog. So definitely check that out. Go to SasquatchChronicles.com and click on the blog, and you can go through years probably of listener emails and other things Wes has posted through the years, but he's regularly updating this site and does a hell of a job. So support the man. His efforts shall not be in vain. All right, let's get to this one. Where did my mouse go? There it is. August 25th, what it means when they show their teeth. And I think that's an interesting thing. And we don't know, before I read it, I'm just going to say this. When people show you their teeth, they're generally smiling or grimacing. But either it's a very happy remark or visual, or they're really pissed. With primates, generally speaking, when they show their teeth, they are extraordinarily stressed. Now, I don't know where Bigfoot falls on this metric. If Bigfoot is more human-like and maybe smiles, shows your teeth like, hey. Or if it's like, I want to eat your face. I don't know. But I would think it would be probably careless to assume that they're smiling at me. Because with chimps, if they show you your teeth, you might be in huge, huge trouble. So, all right, let's see what this says. A listener writes, in episode 1180, The Caveman on the Property, The Chronicles of Dean, you discussed what it means when they show their teeth. The consensus appears to be that it must mean a sign of aggression. What it may mean is a sign of non-aggression. I've primarily studied macaque monkeys, but I have had the privilege of spending a year in the Yerkes Primate Center, field station in Lawrenceville, Georgia, where they have the greatest collection of great apes in the world. My ambition was to become a primatologist, and the plan did not come to fruition, but I did finally end up here in Oregon and am still looking for Bigfoot in my retirement from work. I spent a couple of years working in a research facility at the University of Georgia studying a troop of rhesus macaques and a troop of crabtail macaques. The research was funded by the Army out of Fort Detrick, if I remember correctly, and they were trying to predict drug use by lower-ranking soldiers. That goal was questionable in my mind. However, we collected daily social behavior from each troop, and they were standardized behaviors that were coded so we could punch the observation in quickly. There was one code for aggression and one code for submission. The behavior for aggression included staring with the eyebrows crunched, close together as you would see in humans. The mouth would be wide open, and there was a posturing, much like you probably saw in your bar bouncer days. Yeah, Wes used to be a bouncer back in the day. Also, there were usually grunts or similar vocalizations involved. The behavior for submission was called a grimace. This looked much more like a smile, and the eyelids would come up, and there were other retreating behaviors depending on how much the threat the animal perceived. Yes, I know I'm being a little anthropomorphic, but you would recognize it if you saw it. In summary, aggression is more open mouth, lips not way back, teeth protruding, and vocalizations. In contrast, a grimace is more closed mouth, lips way back, with no teeth protruding and no vocalizations except maybe squeals and avoidance if significantly threatened. Had to get my mouth working. What it sounded like to me was this Bigfoot was signaling non-aggression, but not necessarily submission. I've been in Oregon since 1983 and have been all over these woods. The closest I've come to an encounter happened in 2016. I didn't start listening to your show until a couple of years ago. I was in the Mount Hood Roaring River Wilderness in Clackamas County, and I went there to check it out since a guy named Robert Bissell went missing there back in 2010. There are several newspaper articles you can read about it. The main lake in that area is Shell Rock Lake. There's only one trail in and one trail out unless you make an extremely difficult trek up to the upper Rock Lakes. The best way to get to the upper lakes is through Fraser Turnaround. That is hard to drive but does have a campground. That is where the Bissell was camped out, I believe. All I did was walk in about 1.5 miles and down to Shell Rock Lake, took some pictures, and headed back out. There were cars at the trailhead, but I didn't see anyone else coming in or going out. On my way back out, I started hearing a very low growl. It was like you described as having the devil sitting on your shoulder. I stopped for about 5 minutes trying to locate the source. I turned around and even looked up in the trees, but nothing. To get back out of the bowl the lake was sitting in, I had to climb up and go around a blind corner to get back to the only trail, to the trailhead where I was parked. I didn't have any weapons on me except my walking poles and a K-bar. As I was walking towards the blind corner, it sounded like something may be on a cliff above wanting to pounce on top of me. When I finally rounded the corner without any encounter and headed back down the trail, the growling noise went away and I started thinking I may have imagined the growling. However, after not going very far, I heard an extremely loud noise that sounded like a tree coming down like you would hear in a tree falling operation. There was no ongoing logging operations in that area. I walked back really fast to look around the corner, but still didn't see anything and didn't want to hear any more growling. I did read that some people fishing got chased out of there by rocks being thrown at them about a week before Bissell showed up. My main purpose was to inform you and your audience that showing of teeth may not always mean aggression. However, I'm not encouraging or recommending that people interpret this to be a sign of friendship or submission and think that it was okay to approach. Yeah, definitely not. Very, very cool. The growling I can understand. I've experienced that. It's horrifying. All right, that was the first one. What do we got next? August 22nd, Strange Sounds at Night. A very short one. A listener writes, Wes, I'm an avid follower of your show and really enjoy it. I live here in Washington and I'm sending you these clips from my sister. She's a very secluded farm in southeastern Wisconsin on the Mississippi River. It should be southwestern. Again, I think I read this one and there was no, yeah, we did this one. But there's no Mississippi River on the southeastern part of Wisconsin. It's only on the western border of Wisconsin that you find the Mississippi River. But anyway, outside of that, yeah, the sounds are kind of interesting, but I don't know. We're going to go over to Phantoms and Monsters now. I want to close that one first. Here we go. We're going to go over here because there's some pretty cool things to read. Did I read this one? Mournful Crying Bigfoot. City of White. I don't know if I did. I don't think so. I don't know. We're reading it again, though. Maybe I did. No, I did read this one. Sorry. All right. I don't want to read that one. Here we go. This one's a pale crawler. It sounds like. This is why I'm so happy Elon's back with this site. I really missed Phantoms and Monsters because there's such a menagerie of strange cryptid reports. And I think there's a lot of things out there that we experience as cryptids. John, you heading out? Take care, brother. Good to see you. I'm going to read this one, and then we're going to be closing up shop here. So this one is from, again, phantomsandmonsters.com, another amazing site. Please support it. Lon just rebuilt this whole site. It's beautifully done. It's much more, I think, easy to navigate than the old one. And I think you're going to like it. The story is crawling spider-like terror while camping in northeast Missouri. I'll be going to Missouri in a couple weeks. I hope I don't find any crawling pale terrors. Let's see what it says. While camping deep in the woods in northeast Missouri, a man was jolted awake by an eerie moan and the sound of his tent zipper opening. Oh no, that's horrifying. What followed was a face-to-face encounter with a horrifying crawler-like entity, empty eyes, gaping mouth, and spider-like movements that left him fleeing in terror. Oh my God, that poor guy. Later, he and his friends found only a strange circle in a nearby cornfield, leaving the question of whether this was a demon, spirit, or something far more unknown. And here's the story. I was camping in the middle of nowhere, northeast Missouri. As ridiculous as it sounds, right at about 3 a.m., I was woken up by what I can only describe as a zombie movie moan. I then heard something scraping on the tent fabric, and then I listened to the zipper get pulled down. As this was happening, I sat up and was positioned in the middle of the tent, absolutely freaking out. The tent flap opened about a third of it anyway, and then a creature resembling a crawler or the creepy image from that trail camera skinwalker, which I'm sure you've all seen before. This thing peeks into my tent with its mouth wide open. It didn't have teeth, although, and its eyes were also empty sockets. With little eyes, I honestly don't know how to describe its appearance. I was instantly crying like an absolute baby, even though I am a grown man. That thing just slowly backed away after probably 30 seconds. I then grabbed my phone, knife, and car keys and dove out of the tent flap, sprinting all the way to my car. As I was running, I could see this thing galloping into a nearby cornfield. It ran like a jumping spider gallops. That's really terrifying to think of. I returned the next morning with my family to select all my camping gear. I think he meant collect. A few weeks later, a few friends and I grabbed our rifles and went exploring out there again. The only odd thing we found was a crop circle-esque area in the corn. I believe it was a demon feeding off of fear, but I honestly don't have a better answer for what the hell happened. The only stories I found regarding the area were a few accounts of people seeing Civil War era ghosts, but no one I know has ever encountered anything similar. What do you think the experiencer encountered, Lon asks. Was it a crawler humanoid or something entirely different? I don't know. I don't know what the eyes of a crawler humanoid look like. Sometimes people say they glow, sometimes not, and maybe it's more reflection than glowing. But could you imagine seeing that in your tent? I'm here to tell you, I love the little jumpy spiders for what it's worth, but I think they're adorable, but I don't want to see a white crawling humanoid doing that. I don't like that idea at all. So what would you do with that, though? I mean, how would you process that? I think I might bawl like a baby, too. Like, this is not how I want to die. Because you'd have to think that it was coming for a reason. I mean, if it's unzipping your tent, that's a whole different level of you are screwed. When it's opening a door, opening a threshold to get into where you are, that to me is a very aggressive action. Like, if it would just stayed outside and moaned and kind of sniffed around and stuff, like, oh, I'm just going to wait here until this stops, whatever the hell this is. But then you hear the zipper popping, like, and the flap opening, and that's what looks in. I'm here to tell you, I'd be noping out too. I just don't know how do you process that. And what does that mean? Because it's opening a tent. I would have to think that it was going to attack. Like, that's the natural progression of my logic. It's like, well, it knew I was in here. Now it's opening it and it looking in. Is that just curiosity? Maybe. But maybe you're on the menu. I don't know. Screw that. Screw that, guys. Yeah, scary ASF. Yeah, absolutely, man. From the West 420. Creepy, creepy stuff. Very, very weird. There you go. I don't know. Again, this is the last live stream now scheduled for the next week. So don't be waiting for the Wednesday show or the Friday show or the Saturday show. I will stream when I can. Probably do a couple members streams over the next week. But I'll do a normal stream for you guys, so everybody can have a look at Phenomicon and what's going on. And maybe next year you'll make it. Maybe you'll find the way there. I think the the roster of people showing up is really exciting. There's just some incredible people going to be there. Some I'm very excited to have the opportunity to meet. Some of which I've talked to before, like George. I was on Coast to Coast with him, and he was on my podcast with me. Amy Bruni is going to be there, which will be fun to have a chance to meet her in person because she was on my podcast promoting her cookbook, Food to Die For. Exceptionally cool idea. If you haven't heard of that, check it out. It's not only a cookbook with actual historic recipes from all of these strange places, but it's also a lot of history and background on these haunted locations. So like Myrtle's Plantation and like, a bunch of others. So lots of things to check. I think you can even get a meatloaf recipe from Lizzie Borden from Amy Bruni's cookbook, which is it's kind of a mind-numbing possibility. But check out that interview I did with Amy Bruni. Of course, she's from Kindred Spirits with Adam Barry on television, on syndication. She was also one of the original Ghost Hunters members with Jay and Grant back in the day. But she's just a really nice person, and I had a great talk with her. But pretty crazy. I don't know if you want to make Lizzie Borden's meatloaf, but you might want to look for Food to Die For. Get a hold of that cookbook because you could. And apparently it's delicious. And it's no human meat is involved. Good night, Brent. Have fun. Good night. Everyone sleep well. Thank you, Sharon. I appreciate it. Thank you all for being here as always. I have a great time with you guys every time I do these shows. I'm just so honored. You guys continue to show up. Chief Mustache, good to meet you. Thanks for coming in. Dog Digger and Barbara Mora over on Rumble, rounding out. Did not see Mr. Justin Gooder tonight. I'll expect a permission slip on my desk. But for all of you guys, thanks for coming in and being a part of the journey. And I will be back intermittently through the next week, streaming on YouTube. Unfortunately, I can't multi-stream. When I do that, I can only do it from my phone, and it doesn't multi-stream. So we'll do it as much as I can, but I only expect a few impromptu streams when I get the opportunity. So if you're not subscribed, get subscribed. Hit the notification bell. And for those of you that are members, I'll give you some extra streams of the event. And hopefully we'll have a great time. But all right, until next time, you guys know I love you. So just remember that first and foremost. Love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day and remember to laugh as much as you can. I will be talking to you guys as soon as I can. But just know wherever I go, hello, Hoggle, good to see you. Awesome to see you come in. But just know wherever I go, I'm taking you with me. You're right here. You're all right here. So love you. And until next time, good night, everybody.